chapter 7, Knowledge of the Absolute, text 28, is that persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. So that's the big obstacle. I was hearing a class the other day, Prabhupada was saying that people, not everyone can take to Krishna consciousness because they're sinful. Because they're sinful, they're not able to take to Krishna consciousness. So that's like a stumbling block. It's an obstacle for, even though the love for Krishna is in the heart, but the soul is covered up by layers and layers of rubbish.
Yes.
And this is rubbish of all these sinful activities and lust and greed and anger and envy and like that. And then going back to the previous verse, that all living entities are born into delusion, brooded by dualities arisen from desire and hate. So as long as that's there, there's a desire to be God and a hatred of God and envy of God, then it's not possible for that seed of love of Krishna to blossom in the heart, as long as one's envious of Krishna. I remember when I was going door to door one day, and I showed this lady at the door in my favorite book, which is Krishna book. I showed her that book. I really love Krishna book. It's such a nice book. And then and a beautiful picture on the front of Radha and Krishna. And so I put it in her hand, and immediately she saw the picture, and then she said to me, "Why is he so short?" And I immediately, I'm confused. What does she mean? Krishna's short. See, that's because she's envious.
Yeah.
Because she's envious of Krishna, so she doesn't see Krishna as all attractive.
Yeah.
She's seeing Krishna as short or not handsome or whatever like that. And so Krishna's arranging that, because Krishna is in her heart. Krishna knows that this soul is envious of me, so I'll make her think that I'm short. So Krishna putting that thought in her mind, because Krishna knows what her desire is and that she's envious like that. So that's a big obstacle. But otherwise, if someone has some desire from past lives or whatever to serve God, to try to understand God, then very easily, just like that, it can be just awakened.
It is like, it's just anyone can, like, I think Krishna make an arrangement as well. I was living that materialistic life. If the Rowan doesn't come, he's my friend. He used to come to my cafe. He came today as well.
Yeah.
So if he didn't come there, I wouldn't come to Bhakti Tree. I probably will be doing whatever I'm doing that. So
you came in a group of like 5 people or something?
Yeah. I came in a group of 6 people. They were my customer at the Bhakti Tree. Yeah. And now they're my friends as well, but they're not friends much, because I just come in this side. I said, look, I'm not interested in the parties and all that things there. If you like, you can feel free. They came in the Bhakti Tree a couple of years in the beginning, but then they realized that I've been, thinking of a different way. So I could not be enjoying the parties and all that, because food is different, belief is different. So it's not much talk in there. If they talk in the party as well, materialistic stuff, I've got nothing there to talk to. So I don't need to go there. And then association makes a big difference too. So Rowan came as well today. He's the one bringing today. He came. So he comes every day. He
came today to the Bhakti Tree.
Yeah, okay. He comes every Thursday. He comes at the Kirtan as well. But it does not click him. He does that, the soul origin there. They're distributing their homeless kid a food or something, charity program. He does that. But this Krishna consciousness does not click him. He came, he's chanting Hare Krishna, but it's been like almost 10 years, 9 years. 2015 I came first. Since that.
Yeah, but still.
There has to be somebody he can gel with and who can,
Well, he gels with Gulshan because he's Gulshan's...
Yeah, but I asked him to come to farm and I meet the Kalya Prabhu, and he came to farm as well. But somehow it didn't click him. I tried to ask him that at least do 1 round a day chanting. This chanting is the main, once you start doing chanting, then everything will come in place. So, but it didn't click. But he does come. Okay, that's fine, but that's okay. So anyone comes there, just simply, and they were saying today, like three Indian student came, and they said, "Oh, our food is very nice." I said, "Look, you can go to any restaurant, you can get the food, but this is the different from the food." He said, "What is the difference?" I said, "That's the prasadam, because we offer to the Jagannath first. It become prasad. It's a blessed food. You can get this meal any Indian restaurant, but the prasad you can get either temple or temple's restaurant. That's why it tastes different. You don't know what the taste is." He said, "Taste is beautiful." He said, "That's the Jagannath's mercy." He said, "Oh, okay." Then they went there to read in there, the Indians, and he said, "Oh, that's a puri. Where is that?" "Oh, it's an Orissa." So eventually they'll go one day, but they were just the students. So anyone comes that, I'll just explain why this tastes good, because it's a prasad. First plate goes to Jagannath. First in the morning we cook 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock. Then everybody eats. Those Westerner doesn't know that. I said, "Look, you can read in there, but that's the divine. It's the creator of that whole creation. That's why we're getting all that." So just a simple gratitude. Thank you.
So
Anyway.
what we're doing, distributing prasadam and books and the holy name is burning up people's sinful activities, the reactions of their past sins, and also making people pious. So when the sins are fully eradicated and they become pious more through these different ways, then they can take to Krishna consciousness. So although we might see they don't take to Krishna consciousness immediately, but still they are making progress.
Yes,
so
they are.
Visibly, they are progressing.
Funny you say that. Brett's father, they parents, they don't believe, I don't know, atheists, or they believe in different church. I don't know. So when they call Brett, they don't call Brett. They say, "Oi, Hare Krishna, come here."
Really?
Yeah. So at least they're saying Hare Krishna. His father. He said, "My father."
Wow, that's so
He
good.
just, when he called me, he say, "Hare Krishna, come here. Hare Krishna, you going there?" Or something like that. He doesn't call Brett.
Yeah.
I said, "That's good, actually." So
That's
he's
very-
already his journey already started. Maybe next life or so, he's gonna come.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
like, if he just like, that's nice. At least he's just calling him to Hare Krishna rather than Brett.
Yeah. And that wouldn't happen if we weren't distributing prasadam,
That's
So these things that Prabhupada has given us to do, Prabhupada's given us so much service. Mainly our services we see is it's either distributing books or prasadam or doing harinam and kirtan and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's keeping us engaged, and also it's making so many people fortunate.
Yes.
And one day or another, or one life or another, then that Krishna consciousness will blossom,
Definitely.
Be awakened. Yeah.
It's my daughter asked me to bring something gold from India. So I bought one bangle. So I went there to a jeweler, and he also quite spiritual, but his belief was, I don't know if you heard about it, Nirankari. It's Nirankari. They are turban people, but they wear the white turban. And when he seen me in the dhoti, and then I went with my brother and sister. Everybody just come in the normal, and I'm also in dhoti and kurta, and tilak and kanti malav in there. So he just look at me, and then he just say, "Oh, hello," and then we're talking in Hindi. And then I said, "Look, I just want to buy one bangle for my daughter, a gold bangle." Then he said, "Oh, you Hare Krishna." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, he's got the pictures and all that." Nirankari means they believe in Nirakar, like,
Yeah.
no. Then
No
form. Yeah. And then he was asking that, like, how can the God be in the form and all that things here? Then I asked him that. I said, "Do you offer a prasadam, food, bhogas to?" He said, "Yeah, of course. First plate we make it, we offer." I said, "How can he eat it if he has got no mouth?" He has to have a mouth to eat it. I said, "Do you like pray?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "But he has an ear to hear that? He has to have a form. How can he be, if he's no shape, how can he hear and offer food?" He said, "I didn't think that far. Think about it." And then he just, like, my brother and sister, they're waiting for the bangles too. he just forgot that to selling bangle. He just keep talking to me. It's been half an hour. And I said, look, my brother and sister, they agitated. Might we need to go? And we gotta get. I said, okay. And then we just say, okay. He gave me a very good discount as well. I purchased the bangle. Then I said, I want one silver bangle. So he's got a silver department separate. So I went there to see him. He called them. He said, this one Hare Krishna coming there. He gave me a good price, please. And then he gave me a good price for that one as well. Then I was about to leave that. Then shopkeeper called me that. He said, oh, you got a phone call. I said, phone call for me? Went there. There was a boss. He was sitting up there in his, up cabin. He said, please, next time when you come, please visit to my store. I said, I've got not much money to buy that. It's my daughter asked that. So I'm just buying that one gold bangle. But I'm not, I don't have much money, He said, doesn't matter. Please come to see me at least. So I said, okay, next time when I come, it's in Delhi, close to my home. So I said, well, good. I didn't have any Bhagavad Gita, anything with me. Otherwise, I would have to give him. But I just went there to see. But he was just so totally listening to me. Forgot. He's got another customer waiting. He said, oh, let them wait. He's like a multi-story, 3-4 story jewelers. And people are waiting there. And he served them accordingly. And I said, what is he giving a free? He said, no. But he's just so much famous. And benches of people are waiting with the numbers to serve. He said, oh, let them wait. He's just too busy talking to me.
He's very pious, obviously.
He is actually very spiritual. So
with his response for if God doesn't have a mouth, how can he eat? Well, I can then somebody can argue, but God can eat with any form of his. I mean, he can eat with his hand, or he can eat with his.
So John is making the point that God can do anything through any one of his senses. They're interchangeable. There's a verse in Brahma Samhita that says Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti. So that means he can eat through his eyes, or he can talk through his finger, or things like that. Yeah. But the point is, which is along what you were saying, that he must have senses. So even though his senses are interchangeable, but still he has senses, spiritual senses. Yeah. But he's not limited like us, that he can only eat through his mouth, and that he can only hear through his ears. He can do perform any function through any sense. So but still he has senses. Yeah.
Yes, of course. And then
even if someone did say that, you could still say, well, but he's still got senses. It's not that he's without senses.
But it's still they were not the idol worship people. They're why, we have got an idol, we got the deity. Yeah. But they don't. And so I said, look, what, deity is very important. So you can put that if you go and learn archery, you need a one target. If your teacher will say, just throw that in the sky, your arrow, do you think you're going to learn that? So he said, well, has to have a target. Well, that's the target, Krishna. And this is the deity. That's it. He said, oh, okay. So he's just cross-questioning that and things. I said, well, that's the way you learn the archery. And no way you can learn. You have to have a target. And this is the target. Krishna is the target. That's the deity. That's it.
Prabhupada gives an interesting little summary about deity worship in the fifth verse of the 12th chapter. So let's look at that.
Okay. 12.
It talks about deity. 12th chapter, text 5. In the report. And this particular verse is talking about the impersonalists. Okay. So this Nirikar people and all the Mayavadis and everything. So this is here.
For those whose minds are attached in unmanifested, impersonal feature of supreme advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in the discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied.
Embodied, yeah. Embodied. So this is saying that if you're an impersonalist, which is the philosophy that God is formless, just energy, then this verse, Krishna is saying that it's very difficult. It's a very difficult path. And it's saying it's difficult, and to make progress is difficult.
Yeah.
It's a troublesome path and difficult to make progress for those that are embodied. So why does it say that? Embodied means the soul is within a body. That's what embodied means. That this body is a vehicle or a dress for the soul. So within this body, the soul is there. So we're embodied. The soul is embodied. The soul is within a body. So why does it say that? Because we have a form, and we're used to relating to other forms, obviously. So with this body is made of senses, and with these senses, we can, like, I look out the window and I see the form of a bird, and I see the form of a tree, and I see a house, and so many things, a cow, and I can relate to those things because I can see them and I can hear them and touch them. So, I can perceive them because they have a form. However, I can't relate to something that has no form. That would be very difficult.
Yeah.
To have some connection with space. No, that's very difficult. So I'm conditioned to relating with things that have a form.
Yeah.
So that's what it means when it's saying there. This discipline is always difficult for those that are embodied. So we're in a body, and we're used to other objects being in a body. So if we were suddenly told, okay, now you've got to meditate on something that doesn't have a body, just like space or whatever, then that's very difficult. So that's the idea there.
This is the reason that when the tiger see another tiger, they just like, or elephant cannot be friend with the dog, but elephant can be friend with the elephant. So
it doesn't necessarily mean the other objects have to have the same form, but they need to have a form. You can't relate to something that you can't see. It's really very difficult. You can't touch it, you can't see it, you can't hear it. Then how are you going to have some relationship with that? And it's going to be very difficult.
True, yeah.
Imagine if someone asked you, tell me about your wife, and then they said, what does she look like? And you said, I don't know. What's her name? I don't know. How tall is she? I don't know. Like that. So what color is she? I don't know. So obviously, there needs to be a form.
Yes.
There needs to be something you can perceive. You can't have a relationship with the sky or space or something like that.
No, that's right. Yeah.
But let's read the purport, because this is where he talks about deity worship in the purport. You can have a read of that.
Yeah.
Just read, hang on. Don't read the whole purport.
Yeah.
Let's look at the second paragraph.
A crude example may be given here. We may find some mailboxes on the street, and if we post a letter in those boxes, they will be neutrally go to their destination without difficulty. But any old box or an imitation which we may find somewhere, but which is not authorized by a post office, will not do the work. Similarly, God has authorized representations in the deity form, which is called Acharya Vigraha. Acha Vigraha. This Acha Vigraha is an incarnation of a Supreme Lord. God will accept service through them form. The Lord is omnipotent, all powerful. Therefore, by his incarnation as Acha Vigraha, he can accept the services of the devotee just to make it convenient for the man in conditioned life.
So yeah, does that make sense?
Yes, that's right. It has to
So the example is of deity worship is a post box.
Yes.
So if you put your letter in the post box, it's gonna go to the post office. But it has to be an authorized post box. You can't just put any cardboard box on the side of the street and put your letter in there. It's not going to go anywhere.
That's
so
right.
The point is, so the deity is an authorized representation of God. Just like that post office box is, you could say, an expansion of the post office. It's like a limb or an arm of the post office.
Yeah, it's like a embassy in the country. Like you got an Indian
embassy.
High Commission in New Zealand. So
Yeah.
that's whole India is there, but the little India is there.
Yeah.
Which is Indian Embassy in Auckland or Wellington there.
Yeah.
So if you have to connect to Prime Minister, you can go through with that and they can connect it to that. For any business, if you want to do with the India export import, you have to be contact with the embassy and authorization, and then they say, okay, approved.
Yes.
Yeah, that's is the one. Okay.
Yeah, embassies, that's another good example too. Yeah. Yeah. And another point he makes here is, by his incarnation as Archa Vigraha, he can accept the services of the devotee just to make it convenient for the man in conditioned life. So that's the beauty of having a deity, is that it gives us an opportunity to be fully engaged in service. Because when you have a deity, that means you can bathe the deity, Abhishekam. You can dress the deity, Shringar. You can cook for the deity and offer bhoga. You can have the prasadam of the deity. You can sing for the deity, like that, so that you can build a temple for the deity. You can clean the temple of the deity. You can make garlands for the deity. So it goes on and on and on. So basically, if you have a deity, you've got 24/7 service if you want to. Heaps of service. Whereas if you don't have a deity, what are you going to do? I mean, you can chant Hare Krishna, but the point is, if we're not free from the modes of material nature, free from ignorance and passion, if we're not free from those things, then it's going to be very hard to chant Hare Krishna all the time. It's very hard, isn't it? Sometimes we see, devotees in the beginning have hard time even chanting 16 rounds. It's like difficult for them. Even, 2 hours, chanting, they don't have much taste for that. But the other activities, no problem. They'll be happy to, collect money for the temple, or to go and join in the kirtan in the temple, or something, dancing and chanting for the deity and stuff like that, or making garlands, or like so many things like that. So it's a great advantage to have deity worship, because it gives us so much opportunity for services. But if you don't have a deity, and you see that some of these Mayavadi temples, and even in Vrindavan they're there, where they don't have a deity, they've got a temple but no deity, and you see how much is going on in that temple. It's like nothing. It's just a big empty room. It's just a big empty room, and there's nothing happening there. People go in for a couple minutes, and the room looks nice or whatever. They have a look around and they walk back out. There's nothing to do there. But if you go into an ISKCON temple, there'll be kirtan going on for the deity. There'll be talks going on about the deity. The prasadam from the deity will be distributed, and you can eat that. There's so many, like I said, cleaning, and so many things. And the pujaris, they have activities to do. There's so many services. So having a deity gives us, gives us an opportunity for service, and it's through service that we get purified by doing service. If there's no service, then how are we going to make advancement without service? Because that's the whole process, right? Bhakti yoga means serving with love, devotional service. So, and having the deity there gives us an object, a focus, like you said, a target to direct our service to. Because you can't offer your food to the sky,
No.
the rest thing like that. So, and like we're so attracted to forms, isn't it? Like a man is attracted to a woman and form, and the woman's attracted to the man's form. So these eyes get us in a lot of trouble. We're through Cupid. Cupid is firing his arrows, and the male is getting attracted to the female, and vice versa, is causing a lot of problems.
And if you love someone, you have to live with them. It's like if you love your wife, you have to live with them. Same as that.
Yeah.
Krishna, you love them, deity has to be in the house. So simple as you can't
that's a different point. But what I'm saying now is that we are attracted to material forms, through these eyes, seeing some beautiful woman or whatever like that. So when we have the deity form, which is so beautiful, like Radha Gokulananda, like that, different forms, Radha Shyamasundar, like that, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, these different forms, then we get more attracted to the deity than to the opposite sex. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that gives us a way to get to transcend or get free from the lust. Otherwise, not possible. We're so attracted to these material forms. So Krishna appears in a more beautiful form to attract us. So one of Krishna's names is Madan Mohan. You would have heard of Madan Mohan.
Yeah.
So Madan means Cupid, Madan. So Kamdev. So Madan Mohan means one who bewilders Cupid. So that's Krishna. Krishna's Madan Mohan. He bewilders Cupid. He attracts Cupid. Cupid attracts everyone in the material world, but Krishna, he attracts Cupid. So that's Madan Mohan, like that. So, and it's mentioned, unless we get attracted to Madan Mohan, Krishna, then it's not possible to get free from the attraction of Madan, of Cupid. So it's so important part of the process to see the deity, to look at the deity. When Lord Chaitanya would go to Jagannath Puri temple 500 years ago, when he went to Jagannath Puri, he would spend hours just looking at the deity. He would spend hours just looking at Jagannath.
We don't have that good fortune, because they'll push us out of the room.
Yeah.
Yes, actually these days, I don't know. I've been to in Kartik every time, last year and this year. Maybe the Kartik is a busy month, or other months are not busy, or is it busy?
No, every time.
Now every time is busy, yeah.
Okay.
Because the Pujaris in Vrindavan, we were saying, it's so busy, because we went in the middle of winter. We went in, which was summer there, so which was like June, July. We were expecting it wouldn't be busy, but it was. It was more busy than
all year round.
And they said since COVID happened, more Indians are coming to the
people
every time.
It's
people are
eye-opening for them. Anytime anything could be happen.
Yeah, there's 4 kinds of people that come to Krishna, right? Remember, we just read that. So one is those in distress.
Yes.
So due to COVID and lockdowns and so forth,
a lot of people.
People have lost money and they're in distress, and family members have died and things like that. People are sick, and so more people are coming to see the deity.
Indian population, that is over 1 billion people.
Yeah.
If it's a 1% will come, that it'll be Vrindavan will be packed.
Yeah.
It's true,
but that helps us to get out of the material world so much by having a deity. And then instead of being attracted to the opposite sex, we can develop attraction for Krishna, for the beautiful form of Krishna. It's so essential for these eyes to see the beautiful form of Krishna. And otherwise, we're going to just be forced to see the beautiful form of a woman or whatever like that. And that way we become entangled more and more in the material world. So, we need to, like we say, the higher taste, right? We need the higher taste. So we need the higher taste for our tongue, to get prasadam, but also we need the higher taste for our eyes. Instead of seeing a mundane form of a woman, material form of a woman, we need to see the beautiful form of Radha and Krishna, become attracted to the beautiful form of Radha and Krishna. And, we enjoy hearing some material topics.
Yeah.
So we need to get a higher taste for our ears by hearing about the glories of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and like that, Lord Chaitanya, like that. So through all the senses, we need to get some higher enjoyment, some more greater enjoyment. It's very important.
Yeah.
Devotees should be enjoying their Krishna consciousness. It's very important. If we don't enjoy Krishna consciousness, we'll be forced, because our nature, remember, the nature of the soul is anandamaya vyasat, means we're pleasure seeking. That our nature is to search for pleasure. So if we're not getting pleasure from Krishna consciousness, we'll be forced to get pleasure from material life. So how is it devotees can give up, sex, drugs, and rock and roll? It's because we're getting higher pleasure. That's really the reason. It should be. I mean, if we're not finding it very enjoyable, then we might be okay for some time. But if eventually, the devotee may go away, because searching for pleasure elsewhere, if we don't find it in Krishna consciousness. It's there in Krishna consciousness, but we have to follow the process. And it's so important. Like Prabhupada, one time he went to a temple, he saw the devotees weren't very enthusiastic. And he wrote to the temple president, because whatever goes on in a temple, ultimately the buck stops with the leader, with the temple president. So if there's something wrong, it's the temple president's fault. It's the leader's fault. So he went to a temple, they're not very enthusiastic. And he talked to the leader, and he said, he wrote to the leader, he said, I can see that in your temple the devotees are not very enthusiastic, so I can tell by that the devotees are not chanting 16 rounds regularly, and they're not following the 4 regulator principles, and they're not attending the morning program starting with Mangalarti and, like that class and Guru Puja and all these things like that. Prabhupada's point was that through following the process that he's given us of getting up early in the morning and chanting our 16 rounds and hearing about Krishna and having prasadam with the devotees and things like that, this is bringing us up to the spiritual platform called Shuddha Sattva, which on that spiritual platform, we're happy. We're happy on that spiritual platform. And so if we're not happy, if we're not on that spiritual platform, then where are we? We must be, there's only one other option. We must be on the material platform, which is unhappy, which is no enthusiasm and not happy and everything like that. So if someone's not happy and not enthusiastic and everything, Prabhupada could tell, okay, that means they're not getting up early, they're not chanting, they're not hearing about Krishna, they're not having prasadam with the devotees, and that's why then they're lazy and they're not enthusiastic and they're not happy and dancing and everything like that. So that should be the result. The result will be there, and by the result that you're getting, you can tell what is the process. You can tell what is the process. If there's a good result, it must be a good process. You know what I'm saying? You follow the right process, then you get the right result like that. So, but Prabhupada's very intelligent, so he can see, these devotees here are not very fired up. They're not very enthusiastic. So they're obviously not following the process.
Mm-hmm.
So he can tell automatically. like that. Even there's a saying, right? Like, do you know the process? How do you test if a pot of rice is cooked?
You have to pick one grain of rice and touch it and press it. If it's cooked, then whole is cooked.
Yeah, that's right. You don't need to test every single grain in the pot, just one grain. So it's like that. It's like if you go somewhere and you see that this person is not enthusiastic, then there's a problem in that area.
Yeah.
You know,
sometimes you can pick someone at the one conversation, and then you see, it's okay. You know, sometimes people, they say some comments there, then it's means you can see like they're not into that or things like that. Sometimes they comment like something which tells you their true nature. You don't need to ask him again and again. So people are like that, but every kind of people. But if I was asking, now we put the Prabhupada's that deity there in front of the Radha Krishna, but when the Prabhupada was alive, was he putting his Guru Maharaj picture as well, like that, the way we put in the Prabhupads?
On the Vyasasana?
No, like every day, like we have got a Prabhupada deity in front of the Radha Krishna.
Yeah.
So, but when the Prabhupada was alive, obviously there won't be any deity of Prabhupada because Prabhupada alive. With the Prabhupada putting their Guru Maharaj Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's picture that front of the way we put in the Prabhupada in front of the Radha Krishna, would they putting their Guru Maharaj as well like that, or how do we start this trend?
When Prabhupada was alive, every temple would have a Vyasasana, right? But empty Vyasasana.
Okay.
And when Prabhupada would come, then Prabhupada's sitting on that Vyasasana. When he's not there, it's just the Vyasasana. No one sitting on it.
When the Prabhupada was doing the Guru Puja, obviously Prabhupada's Guru, would they put it Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati?
No. The Guru Puja means Prabhupada's Guru Puja, not Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's Guru Puja.
No, was Prabhupada was doing his Guru Puja as well, or Prabhupada was not doing the Guru Puja? Like Prabhupada has Guru too.
They were offering Guru Puja to Prabhupada.
The devotees would be offering Guru Puja to Prabhupada. Your question is, was Prabhupada doing Guru Puja to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati?
And then put in his deity or picture on that front of the Radha Krishna at 7:30 we do, like, you know.
Well, no, I mean, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's picture would have been on the altar with the other parampara.
Yeah. So his
picture would have been on the altar, and there was other pictures here and there, depending on the temple. I mean, like in Prabhupada's room, would be a picture of his Guru.
Prayer we doing that for 7:30 Guru Puja, we do that every day 7:30. When Prabhupada was doing that, it was the same one or a different one?
No. The devotees would do Guru Puja to Prabhupada's physical form. But it's
when
not
the Prabhupada was alive.
When Prabhupada was alive, they were doing Guru Puja to him. But when devotees are worshipping him, he's internally worshipping his spiritual master. He doesn't need a picture of his guru to be worshipping his guru.
Okay.
His whole life is worshipping his guru. It's not that he worships his guru for half an hour a day and then nothing. His whole life he said, there's not for one moment that I feel separation from my spiritual master. I always feel the presence of my spiritual master. I always feel that my spiritual master is inspiring me by his instructions. You know, I'm always remembering his instructions. So he's always meditating on his guru. He's always worshipping his guru. He doesn't need a half an hour ceremony to worship his guru. But we do, because otherwise we won't remember him.
Yeah.
You know, so, but no, as far as I know, it's not that Prabhupada was offering, you know, an incense and ghee lamp to a picture of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati.
No.
I mean, of course, when he would do an arti to the deities, which he did, there's pictures of Prabhupada doing an arti. So there would be a picture of his guru there on the altar.
That's
But he
right.
wasn't just doing a special Guru Puja or
Very
anything.
good. Unless there's
His
Vyasa Puja once in a year would be different. He probably will do his Guru's Vyasa Puja.
yeah, well, like on Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's disappearance day, then
Yeah.
Prabhupada might cook something. Like one time he cooked his guru's favorite item, which was urd dal khichdi, like
Okay.
that. So yeah, he would do different things, but his whole life is worshipping his guru.
Yeah.
24/7. Everything was motivated to please his guru. Why did he go to the West? To carry
Because
out
of
your
the
guru,
Yes.
like that. So everything was
Yes.
to please his guru. Yeah.
If Prabhupada
Okay,
would go to the
let's.
West, we could not be here doing the
Yeah,
class.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that's a little bit about deity worship. It's
Yes.
like Prabhupada saying the post office box, authorized by the post office. Then whatever you put there, that will go to the post office. So whatever service we do to the authorized deity, the Archavigraha, that goes to Krishna. It's non-different from Krishna. And as you know, so many pastimes are there of different deities, like Jagannath and Jagannath Puri, so many Leela of Jagannath
Oh
that
yeah.
that he's leaving the temple.
He
So
does
many
actually.
pastimes
He
that
leaving.
he's leaving
You know
the
what? The people were asking me that we were in the long. What happened there? One day, I went there 3 days. Every day I was going there. One day there's some minister was coming, so they don't let us to go there because minister going from the side door and some cameraman was there. I don't know which minister was that, but because of that minister, we have to wait almost more than an hour. He doesn't let you go in because he's doing. So people were asking that, like, have you seen inside? I said yes. And some people, they from Delhi, they came first time, and I was telling that, I said this is not a deity, that's a Jagannath actual. He said, what do you mean? Then I said that there was a famous story here. There's the one guy, he's just complaining, came to the temple. Jagannath came and steal the mango from his orchard. Then the Panda says that, are you crazy? Jagannath, then he said, yes. He said, what evidence have you got? He's got a little piece of dhoti. He said he was running there. I seen that, and the dhoti caught in the wire.
Yeah.
And then his yellow color, a little cloth piece there. He said, look, yeah. And he went there to the dhoti was missing yellow color in the deity.
Yeah.
So he goes to night
Yeah.
time to get. It's not deity. He's there.
No, but I mean, deity means it is non-different than the personality. So every deity is like that.
Yes.
If they're an authorized deity, every deity is like that.
Absolutely. It's just
Even like
Actually, many people get confused and they think Prabhupada is a real person sitting there.
even someone the other day when I was doing some catering, one guy was saying he went to this temple and Prabhupada communicated with him, he said.
Oh.
Yeah. And a flower came out of Prabhupada's hand. A flower came out of Prabhupada's hand, and there was no flower there before. And a flower came, so he had like this mystical experience with Prabhupada like that. And there's many stories.
Even like a Sakshi Gopala, there was an actual Krishna and become a deity when he turned around. So there's no difference.
He walked thousands of kilometers. Yeah,
that's right. He said, don't look at the back. When you look in the back, you become a deity. So
there's so many wonderful pastimes.
So that's the thing.
Even the tailor in Juhu, Radha Rasa Bihari, he has to take the measurements of the deities yearly. And it was questioned, why do you need to take it every year? Why don't it just one time? Because it's going to be the same every time, right? And he said, no, actually the deity is changing size.
Really?
Sometimes the dress doesn't fit because the deity's got bigger. And sometimes the dress is loose because the deity's got smaller. So he needs to regularly take measurements of Radha Rasa Bihari because the size is changing.
There was a one time you mentioned that Prabhupada visiting one of the temple, and then he look in the deities and he's telling that to Pujari that you don't make a good bhoga, Prabhupada, and he's seen the deities looking very skinny. And who told me that? And then they realized they're not making that like a bhoga, like a nice bhoga for Krishna in that temple. And the Prabhupada can see, he said, I can see the deities are skinny because you're not making a good bhoga for Krishna. So it's true. Like it's exactly.
Yeah, so the deity is actually directly God has incarnated into the material world, but appearing in material elements, because we can't see his spiritual form, obviously. We can't see his spiritual form. So he enters into material elements that we can see. So we can see earth, we can see metal, we can see wood, we can see stone, so he manifests himself in this wooden form, stone form, like that. But when he enters into that form, manifests in that form, it's no longer wood, it's no longer stone, it's no longer metal, it's actually God, like that.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's the deity form is made according to the directions of the Shastra, the scriptures. It gives a description of what God looks like. So there's a whole process of the person to make the deity form. And then when the deity form is made, then there's a whole ceremony to inviting Krishna to come, to inviting God to come and enter into that form. And then from that time, that God is invited to come and enter in that form, and then he's served regularly. Then from that time, that's actually Krishna present there.
Yeah.
And Shalagram Shila is unique in that, you know what Shalagram Shilas are, right?
Yeah.
So they're unique in that there's no installation for a Shalagram. Shalagram Shila is God already. I mean, as soon as you pick it up out of the river, the Gandaki, it's God. You don't need to install it. But all the other deities, they're installed. That means once their form is made, then God is invited to come and manifest himself in that form. But Shalagram is no need to install a Shalagram. It's already, God is there, Krishna's there, present there. Okay. So we're reading today text 29.
Okay.
7th chapter.
Yeah.
Jara Marana Mokshaya.
Jara Ram Mokshaya.
Mam Ashritya Yatanti.
You have to do it again, Prabhuji. 1 hour. You have to
1 hour. Okay, it's breaking up. Okay, see you in a minute.
Okay.